Hey there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect Supabase to Fabi, why you might want to do that to, for example, analyze your product data, and then also how to then start using Fabi to like vibe analyze some of your product data. So first things first, if you're watching this video, there's a very good chance that you are using Supabase today or maybe thinking about it, probably using it. And there's also a very good chance that you're using it as part of a like a quote unquote vibe coding platform. So you might be using Lovable or Visio or Replit. Some of those have Supabase as kind of like a default database already sort of baked in or available that you can connect to power your application if you're building an application. Now, Supabase under the hood is basically just Postgres, but Supabase will host it and manage it for you. So it's just incredibly convenient. And so a lot of folks who are using Supabase, I would say kind of fall in more like the vibe coder category. And again, you're probably using something like a Lovable. And so the next question is like, well, why would you want to then analyze your data in Supabase? So if you're, say, building an application, let's say I'll pick Lovable as our example in this case. Let's say you've vibe coded an application in Lovable, and you're starting to put it out to the world, and you have people coming in and using it. You may, and you're probably asking yourself questions about how many people are logging in and how many people are doing such and such event or creating such and such records. So, for example, in Fabi, we have this concept of smartbooks, which are next-gen Jupyter notebooks, and it's helpful for us to analyze our own data. We actually don't use Supabase, we use Postgres behind the scenes, but we analyze that data because it's helpful for us to know how many users are creating, for example, these smart books, how many of them are being published and shared, and so on and so forth. And that data just lives best in our database versus like a product analytics tracking system, which is more like event-based, like a Post-Hogger, Mixpanel, or Amplitude, which are fantastic. We also use that, but that's a separate sort of purpose. So that's why if you're using Supabase today, that's probably why you want to be analyzing your data. So that's actually number one here. We'll talk about next steps here, how to connect Supabase to Fabi. So I'll jump over to Supabase and show you how to do that. And then we're going to then walk through some like just very basic examples of how to then turn that data into an analysis and then eventually even a workflow or a dashboard or data app from there. So, and since I already touched on number one, I'll just dive right in here into how we connect Supabase to Fabi. So first of all, actually, you'll want to go and, I'm going to go here to my smart book here. So you will want to go and create a Fabi account. I'm assuming, again, that you already have a Supabase account. If you don't already have a Fabi account, go to Fabi.ai and get started. You can get started for free, or go to app.fabi.ai. It takes literally maybe 30 seconds to get onboarded. There's going to be like a small onboarding flow, and you'll be able to connect Supabase at that point in the process, or if you're already kind of in the product, the goal here is going to be to go to data sources and then add it to our data sources. So here I already have ClickHouse and BigQuery hooked up to Fabi, but I want to go and connect Supabase. So that's what we're going to be doing, but we need to get these credentials. So let's back up and go back to Supabase. So again, if you're watching this video, there's a very good chance that you've already have your own Supabase instance and you see something that looks like this. Full disclaimer, I'm going to be using dummy data and hiding keys and or getting rid of them after this video. But here I have a demo instance of our Postgres demo instance effectively, where I've uploaded some data. Once you have your data, and you'll have to trust me on this one, I'll show it to you in Fabi. I have some dummy data uploaded. All you have to do is go to your instance and then look for the right branch here. So in this case, I'm looking at production. You can create a new branch, and you will hit connect here. And then what you want to do is you want to look for a connection that is IPv4 compatible. So we recommend the session pooler. And we are going to then expand here, view parameters. And this is where you'll get your key information, which I'm then going to copy and paste over. So let me just do that. Sorry, is that the host that I grabbed? Yes, I grabbed the host. So let me pop that in there. The port, usually the default's the right one. Database, There we go. And then let me copy this user here. And then the password is, I'm going to go to a separate window, just open up my 1Password here. 1 second. Okay, so let me paste in my password here. User suggest, no, I don't want you to suggest a password. I already have one. Okay. So let me go ahead and submit this. Okay. So this will take a minute. It should be actually very quick because I literally just have like one table with maybe 100 records in my Supabase instance. Basically right now what's happening is Fabi is pulling your data in and looking at the schema as well. So you will receive an email once this is done, letting you know that your schema, or sorry, your data is available, and you can just like log right back in. Again, this should take just a second. So I will either see if it's done, and if it's not, I will cut the video. Okay, so it is done. So here I are, you can see now all my tables that I have available in my Supabase instance. It was super simple, as you could see. And now I can start querying this data. So let's just start off. I'm going to open up our AI panel here. And you're probably going to spend like 80-90% of your time in our AI Analyst agent here on the right-hand side. You can see Supabase is now available as a data source. And I can say, what data do I have in Supabase? Actually, I'm not even sure. I have a lot of different tables here, so I'm not even sure what the AI is going to respond to that. It's probably just going to tell me like how many tables I have. And there's actually a lot of stuff in here. It's not particularly relevant to this video, but let's see what it says. Okay, so that's actually kind of cool. So based on my analysis of your Supabase database, here's what data you have. You have one main data table, actually, public sales data, which is, I probably shouldn't have left a space there, bad hygiene. But it actually caught the fact that like there's just like one table that's actually kind of like the main table. That's not like a sort of standard Supabase table. So that's actually really cool. And then it tells me that like I have other things like authentication, storage, yada, yada, yada. So that's actually really cool. So let's say, great, can you show me some of the sales data? So you could write a query, so you could just hit like query here and it will create a SQL cell and you can like literally start querying it if you want. I'm just showing you the AI route here, and I'll show you how you can like tweak the query as well if you want. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's expand this, take a look. Okay, super simple, it's just grabbing all the fields. Again, bad hygiene, I shouldn't have done that. From my sales data, it's ordering it, it's limiting it by 100. Okay, great. So let's see. Analyze top selling products and categories from sales data frame. So let's actually hit that. So let's ask the AI to start showing us some insights. So the goal here is we want to, you can either just like literally stay in this mode. You can even just go like full screen and just kind of start chatting with your data if you want. That's totally fine. Or if you want to turn this into a dashboard or a repeatable workflow where you can like send this to yourself via Slack or email or back to Google Sheets, for example, on a regular basis, you'll be able to do that. So I'll show you just in a second. Okay, we'll finish here. It's actually doing a lot of work. Okay, it's still going. All right, I think it's done here. All right, it's giving me a full summary. Claude 4.5 Sonnet is a little bit verbose. I like it personally, but we do have other models available. So if you want to pick a different model that's less verbose, I recommend actually checking out Gemini models. They tend to be very good. So here I have all my data. I don't personally like these charts. It's fine. We can riff on this. We can always ask updates here or like update it later. I'm just going to sort of accept this for now. I'm going to hit pin to SmartBook. And what's happening is the AI will go and like add all this to your SmartBook on the left-hand side. And you can see here, it starts off with a SQL cell at the top where it's storing my data as my sales data. And then it's using this data in the Python scripts. So you don't have to know how to code, or you don't have to know SQL in Python if you don't want to. Or you can come in here and start editing this and tweaking this if you want. You can also, and I like this view personally in a workflow view. I actually think it kind of describes and shows you what's happening. So this view was showing you that like, okay, we're pulling our Supabase data here, and then it's storing it as a Python data frame, and then it's, the AI is kind of like creates data frames to use things sort of downstream. And you can always, sort of riff from here. So you can say, change this to Altair and use just blue. So if you want to use your brand color, or you want to use a special chart, or you want to change your orientation, whatever, this is where you can like spend however much time you want tweaking these charts and tweaking these outputs before you then go and publish this on schedule. So we'll just maybe like ask the AI for this one tweak, and then we'll move on here in this demo. Okay, this actually already looks a lot better. Maybe again, if I took more time, I'd probably like specify the exact blue, but this looks already 100 times better. So I'm gonna hit pin to SmartBook, and then this will actually probably replace the cell, ideally. Yep, so it's replacing that cell. Automatically it knows to replace just that cell. And there we go. So now, again, the whole purpose of this is, well, one, if it's just you, for example, building your app, and you're kind of like a solo person, and like maybe this is fine, you don't need anything else, you can come in here, you can rerun this whenever you want to. Or if you want to share this with someone else, if you're a small team, for example, you can then automate this thing. So here, for example, let's say I have let me take a look here actually. Here I'm displaying category analysis. That seems to be this table here. So what I'm going to do is, let me just collapse this here real quick. So I'm going to grab category analysis, and let's say I want to send that to Google Sheets. Like I am actually a very big Google Sheets fan, so I can say Google Sheets push, and you can pick the sheet that you want to push to, enter the data frame that you want to send, which is going to be our category analysis, and then you specify some parameters here, and you can run that. Or you can schedule, which I'll show you in a second, and that will automatically push that data back to Google Sheets. Again, I'm a big fan of that. Very popular feature because, sometimes Google Sheets are just easier than dashboards. You can do similar stuff by sending it to Slack or email or other sources. You can come here and kind of like shop around depending on what you want to do. And by the way, if there's a missing sort of connector, just let us know. We can build these very easily. So I'm going to remove this for now. I'm going to say, okay, what if I actually just want to go and build and turn this into a dashboard? I can hit publish here, and I perhaps don't want my intermediate table. I actually don't really care. Let's see, total revenue by product category, top 10 products by total revenue. Maybe I don't care about, maybe I just care about my product categories. Okay, so maybe it's like what I care about, so I can go and do this. You can resize things, move things around. You can also relabel if you want to. You can relabel things here as well. Let me just remove that real quick. And then you can schedule this to refresh, say daily, weekly, or whatever, and then hit finish and view report, and that will publish it. And then you can share this with anyone like you would, like a Notion doc or a Google Doc. One other quick thing here that I forgot to mention that's really important is probably a lot of you like watching this are actually a lot better at database management than I am. But if you are connecting Supabase to Fabi or any other sort of analytics platform for that matter, you probably want to be connecting a read replica. If you just have, let's say a small number of records, let's say, a few 100,000 or something like that, like it's probably not a big deal for you to go and run these queries and like schedule them to run on Supabase. It should handle it totally fine. But let's say, and hopefully you have an app that's incredibly popular with hundreds or thousands of users and millions of records. Running a query could put, potentially depending on the query, a heavy load on your database, on Postgres, and that could unfortunately bring your production app down if you're querying the same data that is powering your production instance. So that's where you'd want to create like a read replica to be able to analyze it. If you want to get more fancy, you could talk about things like ETLing your data using like a Fivetran or an Airbyte from Supabase to, or Postgres, I should say maybe, but like basically from there to like a data warehouse, and then connecting your data warehouse to Fabi. So you kind of have like that buffer, and it's like designed more for analytics. Because you can come in here and like connect, say, Snowflake or BigQuery and Databricks and that kind of stuff. So that's also an option if you're dealing with like really large volumes of data and if you want to start modeling your data more for data analysis. So that was a very, very quick tour. We have plenty of other videos that kind of talk about like more details about Fabi, but I just want to show you how to connect Supabase and start analyzing your product data. Also, maybe it goes without saying, but like I'm looking at sales data here. I just had this demo data on hand. I probably should have gone like find product data, but you probably are looking at like widgets or users and stuff like that. That's what you would be seeing here in Fabi instead of obviously sales data. Yeah. So I will drop some additional links in the notes here, in the video notes description. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to just reach out directly or drop them in the comments down below.